welcome to Monday Moose. I'm Graham Campbell, and this is...
And I'm Jo Fulthorpe.
Really good to see you this morning, bright and breezy, although it won't be bright and breezy by the time you see this, because we've got a full day ahead of us for Moose. Two things going to happen today. Sound like Karen Thames already, after 1 week as a special guest, and I'm using a catchphrase. So two things are going to happen today. I'm going to have a quick chat about World Mental Health Day, and then I'm going to talk to the delightful Jo Fulthorpe, who is the Business Development Manager for the Business Enterprise Trust. So, just firstly though, a quick word about World Mental Health Day. Moose is obviously supporting that, given that it's so close to our hearts as an issue. But one thing that we're trying to encourage people to do today is to share some positive images around mental health. There's going to be loads written, there's going to be loads of stuff out there about mental health today, as there is quite consistently now, and lots of it's going to be positive. It's going to be changing our perceptions and eroding away that stigma that there is about mental health. But a lot of these words are written and they're attached to quite often some negative images. You'll see something at the back, the heads in hands, the all too familiar black and white, tragic sort of images, which, you know, it has become a bit of a shorthand for this is a story, this is a piece about mental health. And while that's fine, that coupled together with the headlines becomes the dominant thing that people take away from these articles. Isn't necessarily the positivity that's contained within, it's the image. So what we're going to do is ask you to count up all these things that you read about mental health during Mental Health Day and have a look at all the images, and you'll see really that the overall impression that you're left with is one of negativity, or I would expect that would be the way. So just have a look at that as you go forward, and Moose, to counteract that in a very small way, is going to be sharing positive images through the day, because guess what, sometimes people with mental health mental illness, whether that be anxiety, depression, schizophrenia, Alzheimer's, whatever that might be, they sometimes have fun with their friends, they sometimes smile. And sometimes that's why mental health has a stigma, because it is difficult to spot. But let's talk about it in terms of positive imagery today. So that's where we're going with World Mental Health Day at Moose anyway. But share around on social media. I'll put some details up about how you can share that stuff, and we can go from there. But just as importantly, I'm here today to talk to Jo, who is the Business Development Manager for the Business Enterprise Trust based out of the Globe Centre in Accrington. Jo and the Business Enterprise Trust have been massively influential in helping Moose get on the ground and take our first tentative steps in the world of business. But rather than go on, I thought I would sort of speak to Jo about her role and what that means for startup businesses in the area. So, without further ado, so Jo, in terms of the Business Enterprise Trust, what sort of goes on a day-to-day? What's your sort of mission? What are you trying to achieve?
What we're trying to achieve, our sort of reason for being, is to help people like yourself start up a business. So we can work with anybody from an idea stage, a concept that they might have, up to the second year in business, really, with the schemes that we offer. And we're there to give a bit of advice, a bit of hand-holding, trying to help people, you know, put their plans together, and also access any government support that might be available.
Okay. And in terms of that government support, there is some financial support available for startup businesses.
Absolutely.
How does that look?
One of the biggest things that I manage is the government-backed startup loan scheme, which is what it says on the tin, a loan to start up a business. And we sit down with that individual and we'll get to know a bit about themselves, a bit about why they want to start up in business, chat about the circumstances to make sure that we're responsibly lending and we're not going to get anybody in financial difficulty. And then we'll help them put the plan together for what it is they want to do. It's a package, really. It's advice, support, finance, really low interest finance because it is government backed.
Yes.
But also mentoring as well for when they're actually in business.
Okay, so in terms of those additional things beyond, well, let's talk about the finance. Let's talk about brass tacks just for now. So, what is available for a small business? Is it? Are we talking a few quid? What's available?
Anything from £500 to £25,000 per person in the business.
Okay.
So if there's 3 of you, then and you needed 75 grand to get a big business up and running, you can look at that. So it's per person in the business, but yeah, minimum 500, maximum 25,000.
Okay, so there's a fair degree of money available there in terms of a loan that's low interest, that's specifically for startup business.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in terms of that, if we were to get a loan, which Moose has had, which has helped us significantly, what other sort of services do you provide for?
We try and keep in touch with as many of our clients as we can. So whether it's signposting them to networks, and I know you're a great networker, whether it's just being at the end of an email or a phone call. For example, last week somebody needed some legal advice and we could signpost them to the relevant people. We also try and put on mentoring sessions of our own, so we might bring in experts in social media, for example.
Yeah,
I wonder if you
good,
know
wouldn't it?
anybody who
know.
can do that for
Well,
us.
it'd be really good to get some training for startups, wouldn't it? Just call here.
And yeah, we just try and be there for whatever their needs are, really, and try and give them a hand, sort of, bit of guidance throughout those early stages.
Okay, and as the dishwasher fires up yet again, there's 2 things on the horizon. In fact, one thing that I want to say is Jo herself has been particularly supportive of us at Moose. She's always at the end of a phone, always at the end of an email, to just give a word of encouragement, just to help us signpost us to various services, and I'm sure that's the same for other businesses around. In fact, I know that it is. So if you are thinking of starting a business, if you've already just started a business in and around the Lancashire, East Lancashire in particular, then this is a lady that you definitely need to speak to. Even if it's just at an idea stage, like Jo said, you can get some input and some sort of second pair of eyes, really, to have a look at your plans and move that forward for you. So it's a real positive thing. Now, I know that Jo has got, well, 3. I was going to say 2, but there's 3. It's not surprises, they're not all surprises, but really good, exciting things on the horizon. One is where you're based at the Globe Centre is celebrating an anniversary.
Absolutely, yeah. This month, the Globe Centre, where we are located, is 20 years since it became a business centre, and we were its first tenants. So, it's as well. Not me personally, but
No.
the business has been there for 20 years, so that's a good one.
Good.
Absolutely.
So you must manage those loans okay. So.
You're not doing so bad. Not doing so bad.
The second thing is, like Moose's very own Sarah, Jo is nominated for a Woman in Business Award.
Yeah, which was a nice surprise.
Yeah, and well deserved too. What
Thank
category
you.
are you in?
For business support sector, so helping people in business.
Yeah, which, less said, you don't need to know anything more than that. It's massively well deserved for Jo's that
Thank
nomination, given the amount of support that she does offer businesses around here, we can't say what the other one is, or can we?
About the number of loans, was that the
Oh
one?
yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk about
Have
that.
we got 4 things?
Yeah.
4 good news stories.
Yeah, in terms of where you're up to with the number of loans in.
Yeah, we will just be nearing approaching our 500th business that we've helped with the Startup Loan Scheme.
Brilliant.
So as I say, that's a package of the advice, support and funding across businesses in East Lancs, which is a brilliant achievement in a short space of time.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's in 3 years, is it?
Yeah, 3 years, yeah.
Okay, and that's quite a lot of work.
It is a lot of work, yeah. We're only a small team. We're small but perfectly formed
Yeah,
team.
but you've got, I presume you have the little dog typing away, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, the
4
office
legs
dog.
is always good, the office dog. What's an office dog called?
Bailey.
Bailey,
He's
the
dead
office dog,
cute.
yeah. That's another reason to drop in. Go and visit Bailey as well as Jo. And in terms of those 500 loans, what's the total value that you find?
We're about 3 million, so we're at the
Right.
3 million mark. So our average
Fantastic.
loan size is about £5,000, which is, all people might need for bit of marketing, bit of tools, bit of whatever it is that they need to get going.
Yeah. And in terms of investment in the local area, that's £3 million worth of investment. Well, that's seed money for businesses that then go on to invest much more in the local area. So it's a massive part of the local
Economy,
community,
yeah,
what you do
definitely.
in the economy. So we'll leave it at that. I was thinking more personally, but we won't talk about that.
Yeah.
You can't tell from here. But Jo is
Come
expecting.
and see me at the office, and you
yes.
can meet the dog and the baby next year.
Fantastic. So on that, I keep sounding like Alan Partridge. I keep wanting to say on that bombshell, but I'll have to hop out of that habit. On that bombshell now, and it was quite a big bombshell, that wasn't it?
Yeah.
Proper one.
Yeah.
We will see you next week. I'm not sure if we have got a special guest next week, but if we have, I'm sure they'll be super, but maybe not quite as super as Jo.
Maybe Bailey. Maybe we could bring Bailey in. You could have Bailey
We
the
say
dog.
never work with children and animals. I've already done the children, so maybe we do. Maybe do a
the dog.
pets version of Moose meets Bailey. Yeah. Okay. Brilliant.
Lovely.
Okay, good to meet you, and
Thank you.
see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.